Today I'm going to talk about adding sequins or beads to your lace. I'm going to show you using a very simple braid how to put the sequins between two trails, how to put beads between two trails, and also to add the beads in cloth stitch. These three patterns are on my Christmas baubles pattern sheet that's available through the website, and they're quite simple little motifs to work. You can hang them on your Christmas tree, and the way they're finished is quite ingenious, even though I say it myself, by joining the two trails together like a half spider and then plaiting the resulting tails and then just knotting them. So you've actually got no finishing off to do as such, just the plaiting. Now for this pattern I've drawn 2 lines of dots for the trail on each side, and then I've just put a little spot in here which is going to indicate where I'm going to put the sequins or the beads. I've hung 3 pairs at the back on a temporary support pin at the side for each trail, and then the first worker is hung on the first pin of the trail. Now to do these we need a tool you call a Lazy Susan or an eyes out. This one has a bent needle with the thread through it, or you can use a very fine crochet hook. Personally I get on better with the Lazy Susan, but it is very much personal choice, and I'll show you how to use both of those later. So we're just going to start the trail off just by cloth stitching out to the first pinhole on the left and then back to the point where we're going to do the join in the middle. So just got a couple of pins in just so that the pairs of passives are supported before we actually start adding the sequins or the beads. And we'll do the same on the right hand side to get it started. I'll get to the centre on both sides, and I've put both pins up with the twists underneath. Now here I'm going to add a sequin, so I'm going to use a Lazy Susan. Now what needs to happen is you're going to sew into the sequin from both sides using the two, that's one sequin gone astray, using the workers from each side. So I'm going to sew into this hole with this worker and this worker, so you'll have it joining, and then it'll be suspended in the middle of the work. So I start off, I use the Lazy Susan, and if I get the sequin, they are a little bit tricky to get them on the needle. Get that on the needle first. So that it is there suspended. You have the double thread through it. So you pull the loop up. So you've got a nice long loop. And you're going to put one of these bobbins through that loop. And you need to make the loop big enough so you can get the spangles through if you're using spangled bobbins. Like that. And then you can push the sequin onto the thread of the bobbin. Get hold of that loop, don't let it go, and pull the Lazy Susan thread out. And then the second bobbin you're going to put through that loop. And this secures the sequin on the left side. You then need to do exactly the same on the right side so that it is suspended in the middle of the space between the two trails. So I put the loop through, pull the Lazy Susan thread up, big enough so you can get the bobbin through, put the bobbin through. If you put the tail end through first, it's often easier, and then pull it through the sequin hole, get hold of the loop, take the lazy Susan out, and then the second worker goes through that loop, and then you just gently tension it up, and the sequin is suspended in between the two trails, and you then continue to work. And I've just put a couple of pinholes between each one because you wouldn't put them too close together usually in lace. You have a little bit of space so that they can sparkle and stand out. And then I'm going to work the second side, the right hand side, down to the same point again. And if you were doing this for a piece, you would of course drop the passives down. If you were going to do a join, you keep them on the pin. Or if you're not doing a join, it's just a sample, you can just drop them down. So just a couple of pinholes between them. Now I'm ready to put the bead in. I put the bead, this time I'm going to use the crochet hook. I put the bead onto the crochet hook, put the thread over the top, get hold of the bead and literally pull it onto the thread. You've then got the loop. The bead is on the left hand side. Hold the loop so you don't lose it, and then put one worker from the opposite side through that loop. And this will mean the bead is then suspended between the two bobbins. And again, just tension it up and magically it's there between it. And you may want to put the two twists on after the bead so that it sits there nicely. You can again do that with either the crochet hook or the lazy Susan. I've done this time with the crochet hook. And I'll just work a couple of rows and then I'll show you putting it on the cloth stitch. It's exactly the same putting it on the cloth stitch, but you can now, if you want a bead in the centre of this trail, you could put it on a pair of passives or you could put it on the worker in the middle of the row. It depends on the direction you want the bead to lie. So if you imagine it's put on the passives, it's going to sit in that position. If it's put on the workers, it's going to sit in that position. So it depends which way you want the bead to lie. If it's, say, for eyes of an animal like on a snake, you may have a definite preference for it. However, if you're putting it on a trail like this and you want to put it in the middle, you've either got to work it slightly to one side or the other, or it's got to go on the passives because otherwise it won't sit in the middle. So again, to put it on, put the bead on the crochet hook, decide where you're going to put it. I'm going to put it on the passives because that means it will be in the middle. Put the thread on top of the crochet hook and pull it on, and put the second passive through the loop. Making sure the loop's big enough to take the spangle, which is the tricky part if you're using East Midlands bobbins. And there it sits, like that. So that's the 3 ways of putting sequins and beads into little decorations like Christmas decorations, or if you're working animals and lace and tape lace for children, a way of putting eyes into the animals. I hope you've enjoyed that video. It's a little short one today. Let me know if there's anything else you want to see, and thanks for watching. Please subscribe and click the notifications button to hear lots more videos coming soon.